Hello, everyone. Good evening. Tonight, we are going to be going into the topic network exploitation. It's an introduction. This is going to help us to understand how networks can be exploited. And my name is Patricia Emmanuel. Welcome to the room, everyone. Our objectives: we want to learn how to explore the various techniques that can be used to exploit networks and how to secure them. As we're security analysts, we need to understand and know how to secure them. This session is going to cover the theoretical side of things, but I would have questions in between. I'll ask you questions in between, and also this class is laying the foundation for the hands-on practical class on Saturday. So on Saturday, you're going to be looking at analyzing a phishing email. How do you put your report together as well? Write your report after you've done the analysis, and or you are also going to learn how to use some open source tools. So please make sure you don't miss the class on Saturday. All right. Network exploitation. How can networks be exploited, and how do we secure them? Does anybody know? How can do you have an idea how networks can be exploited? You can put your answers in the chat. I want to know if we have some understanding, because I know we have some certified security plus engineers in this room. So
yeah. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I think we can use man-in-the-middle attack or distributed denial of service to actually, attack on network or make some network attack.
Okay. Fantastic. Thank you very much for that response. You're quite spot on. Networks can be attacked through phishing, through man-in-the-middle attack, like you said, through malicious softwares, malware, and also through denial of service attacks. Those are like the common ways by which networks can be exploited. And we are going to go deeper into the description of this kind of attacks. And how do we secure our network? Anyone? How do we secure a network?
By not using a default password.
Oh, fantastic. By engaging a use of strong password. Yeah. What else?
Using VPN.
Using
VPN.
VPN, yes. Fantastic.
And some links.
Using
I don't know how to put it. Links, some
by not clicking on any any link.
Yeah.
All right.
Social engineering.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Phishing link.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that. Yes. Great. You have all said, I'm happy you have ideas and the knowledge is there. So this class will be really easy. We're just going to keep flying from one slide to the other. So you've mentioned this phishing attacks, man-in-the-middle attacks, malware attack, denial of service attacks. And do you know that these attacks, you can actually group them into two techniques? One is sort of more technical, all right, And the kind of attacks that fall within the technical spec are malware, ransomware, the denial of service attack, and those distributed denial of service attacks. And then we have also the social engineering attack. And this is the most common ways that hackers exploit, because it is easy to manipulate people to bypass security, and it is not expensive for them at all. Before they can carry out all these technical attacks, it takes a lot of their time, and it is also expensive to exploit. About social engineering, what do they need? They need to establish trust, all right, with the person that is their victim, potential victim. And of course, guess what? It has a high rate of success. The social engineering attack has a high rate of success. So why is social engineering a major threat? It is not expensive, easy to execute, and it is effective. If I gain your trust, you gain my trust. Of course, you know that it will be easy for you to reveal some information to me. And again, it bypasses technical defenses by exploiting trust, curiosity, or urgency. Rather than breaking through firewalls or systems, social engineering targets people. I'm sure we are equipped, we are aware, we are security aware, and for us to be socially engineered, it would take some time. I think at this stage where we all are, but people may not be as vigilant as we may be. In fact, I will tell you that many major breaches have started with just a simple phishing email. So, and if people are not aware of what a phishing email looks like, which is one of the techniques within the social engineering techniques, of course, there will be a lot of attacks that people would not even know what they are doing, because they've clicked on a phishing email, because they are not as vigilant. Yeah, moving on. How does social engineering work? How does it work? The perpetrators, they know how to gather information. They collect information. In fact, they would have researched their targets. They gather information from social media or other public sources, and they would put those information together. Next, what do? They can create a believable story. That would be some sort of story, and pose as someone that you can trust. They pose and they come across as someone that you can trust. And what do they do next? They explore the human psychology. They use tactics like, they kind of show authority, and there's urgency in their requests. And of course, they kind of make you feel familiar, with whatever it is they are offering, or whatever it is they're telling you. In fact, if you've ever done any reading or study around psychology, there's a lot of ways they can use to exploit human beings. And of course, we human beings are fallible. You understand? We can easily get swayed, and And that's why the social engineering technique has really, really been successful. And once these first three are established, what do they start to do? They've gotten the information, they can access what they want from you, and before you know it, as a target, you begin to act without thinking. And what else? They start to execute their action. They start to execute their action. And of course, what is their objective? To get those sensitive information from you, download malware, or perform actions that can compromise security. You know, these are their tactics. An example would be, say, an employee that receives an email from somebody in the IT team, but that email is exactly not from somebody in the organization's IT team. It's an email from somebody who is trying to pose as a representative from the IT team, asking them to reset their password. And you can imagine if that employee doesn't check to confirm, the moment they click on the link and enter their password, the attacker captures it. Let's even say another way that might be, another example I would give. Let's say you're at work and somebody walks in, you know, hi, how are you? And then, oh, I'm from the IT department. I'm going around to take a look on everybody's system. It seems there's something wrong. Of course, if you're not careful, because that kind of approach the person has used, you're definitely not going to suspect anything, unless you're thinking, okay, I didn't get any message that an IT representative will come to my desk today. You know, you didn't get any email and somebody has approached you. And of course, they can do that. We watch movies, we see how the how the actors or the bad guys try to infiltrate um, or bypass security. You know, those are the kind of things that you can imagine that would happen. So social engineering is just the word social. They use that approach, that technique a lot, because it actually has a high success rate. Let's look at the types of social engineering attack. We've talked about phishing earlier. Emails asking for sensitive information. We have spear phishing. These are targeted phishing emails that are tailored to individuals. They've already profiled that individual, so they tailor that they tailor the attack to that individual. The individual could be a CEO of an organization. At least they know that you have a very sensitive post, and of course they can be able to spearfish you to get the information that they need. The phishing uses phone calls. An example would be someone telling you, trying to get some information about you, and that information seems like a very valid information, and they say they are calling from the United States. Imagine if someone says they're calling from the United States and they don't have American accent. Of course, it will be quick for you to detect. All right. However, if they use the American accent, it will be easy for you to believe. Do you understand? All this yeah, it's just really, really like is so interesting, the kind of ways they can actually do that. Even somebody calling on the phone at your workplace, please note this one. Phishing is like a voice-based phishing. That's why it's called phishing. All right. So, so let's say somebody in the IT department, you get a call and somebody is claiming to be calling from the IT department. And that person says, oh, hi, Pat, there's suspicious activity on your account, and I would like to help you resolve that. We just noticed that while monitoring here, and of course, that sounds really like it sounds really believable, and the attacker asks for your username and password. So can you give me your username and password? And of course, if you're not aware, you could fall for it, because this person has claimed to say he wants to help you resolve a suspicious or investigate a suspicious activity on your system within the organization. And of course, that phone number is from an outsider, not your IT guy in the office. And let's go through smishing. So this is phishing through SMS, okay, or text messages. We all know what that is. So let's say you get a text message and someone is claiming to be from a popular online payment service, and they're warning you of a suspicious login. Say, for example, I don't use, say, for example, if you don't use an Apple phone, and you get a text message that is saying to you, oh, there's been a suspicious activity on your Apple phone. Can you click on this link? Can you click on this link to resolve? You understand? Those are they are social engineering attacks, and that has come through a text. And of course, you would actually think that it came from Apple. What would save you is if you are not using an Apple product. But if you are, there's a tendency that you would want to click on it, because you're thinking, I don't want anything to happen to my device. Do you understand? And of course, there's pretexting. So this one is fabricating a scenario to extract information. How do you fabricate? So, for example, if I'm an attacker and I pretend to be an HR representative, and I'm asking you, and I'm asking you for your NI and banking details for confirmation. Let's even say you're a new staff in the office, and I am pretending to be an HR representative. I call you to say, oh, I want to update our payroll information. Can you share your NI and your banking details for confirmation? Of course, as a new staff in the organization, it's easy for you to fall for it. And just give you some examples that you might actually think, wow, is that possible? It's possible, because the situation looks real. I'm a new staff. Oh, but if you think about it, when you accepted your offer letter, you might have completed the form with your NI number and your banking details. So why is somebody calling you to request for it? Always let us have a thought about all these kind of techniques that attackers use, because you never know. You never know which way they would use to try to get to you. And we have baiting as well. So of course you know what a bait is like. You put one on a fishing hook to get the fish. When you go, if you've ever gone fishing, because you want the fish to come, and you want to get some, you've gone fishing and you want to attract the fish. So baiting is like they lure victims with offers that are really enticing, like a USB drive. And of course, that USB drive has a hidden malware. So you can imagine, you can imagine if something just pops up on this screen and say, oh, this is this USB drive. This USB drive it does this. Oh, it's fantastic to use. You can use it to save as many files as possible. It is secure, and you're thinking, oh, wow, I like it. And then they kind of design the USB drive in a way that you feel that, I've never seen a USB drive that like this, of course. you know, when you plug such into your computer, what does it do? It installs that hidden malware on the network. The network in your home, the network in your office, you know, all those kind of things. So be careful of bits, all tempting items that looks too good to be true. All right. And then we have tailgating. I think tailgating and piggybacking. I know you could hear piggybacking, tailgating. So this one is when you try to gain access by following somebody who is authorized into a restricted area. The person is authorized to go into that restricted area, but you are not. So what are you doing? You're tailgating or piggybacking and to gain access. So and a very common example that you'll find is somebody who is an attacker is waiting by a secure entrance, and an employee is coming into that restricted area, and this attacker asks the employee to hold the door, or because and they would like kind of claim that they've forgotten their ID badge, and once inside, what would they do? They have access because somebody has helped them to get in. All right. Sometimes they tailgate without the authorized personnel knowing about it, and sometimes they use that approach by claiming that they forgot their ID, you know. And of course, there are other ones. I can make. I don't know if anyone has heard about quid pro quo. So I offer a service in exchange for access. You know, I offer you um I offer to help you improve or fix something. All right, and then you give me your access. Please don't ever give anybody, especially in the workplace. Sometimes I say to people, I don't go to the workplace to make to make friends. Yeah, and in this line of work, of course, you'll be professional and work with people professionally, but be very careful. No one is trying to say, oh, I did you this favor, then you should do this for me. All right. So that is one very sensitive area as well, that the social engineering techniques can be applied to getting sensitive information from people. Then again, I would also like to mention this one. It's called scareware. Uh, have you ever been on your system where you get this fake alert or pop-up that is trying to trick you to download a malware? You know, like you are browsing online and then a pop-up comes up, and that pop-up is warning you that your computer is infected with a virus. I think it used to be very, very common a few years ago, and before you know it, it's prompting you to download an antivirus tool. Now, download this antivirus, your system is at the risk of this, and then, you know, that's called a scareware. All right. So, because what it contains is a malware, it is not an antivirus at all. Please, let's be careful of that, and let's share with people around that we know as well. We are security analysts, and of course, the knowledge we have, it can save a life. It can save people's money. If and directly or indirectly, it can save a life. For example, if somebody's whole savings is wiped off, what do you think? The person will be depressed and they'll start thinking of committing suicide. So everyone just share with them as well. Security awareness training. In fact, this social engineering attacks, sharing with friends and family, people we know, is really, really very important, so that we are all aware and we are helping to safeguard our assets and our precious information. How about AI? How many of us have been using AI lately? Any AI tool? How many of us have been using AI lately? AI is used in social engineering attacks now, as in like it is not just on a mild scale. It is being used, and the AI system will gather your data. It can gather your data from LinkedIn. Then there's a legit group, and the AI will generate some personalized email. And of course, you think it's a legitimate email coming from that group that you have joined on LinkedIn. You understand? And before you know it, it sends a message to you, and you're clicking on those kind of emails, and of course, what's that email doing? It's just trying to gather data that is really important to you, to your organization. So let's be careful. We also have they call this the voice and video. Of course, I'm sure you would have seen the AI. I'm sure you would have seen the AI tools that would really kind of it would generate the voice and video and impersonate a high-profile individual. I've seen that on Instagram a lot of times where people are kind of doing their Instagram shorts. That AI will impersonate a high-profile individual, CEOs, celebrities, that is, once it does that, it can be used in voice phishing, and it will actually help the attacker to trick any potential victim into trusting that person, because they are just imposting, they are being an impostor, all right, and the potential victim could fall for it. So they call that technology, they call it deep fake. Yeah, deep fake technology. You can Google it up. And of course, chatbots as well. We know chatbots can be used for all sorts of conversations. I'm sure you know that when you are not chatting with a real person at the other end, so attackers can also use AI chatbots to engage their targets over any sort of messaging platform. And the social media. Social media is one place where the AI algorithm can analyze social media profiles, can analyze online behaviors, can analyze professional history to create a detailed profile of individuals. So let's be aware of all of this as well. And what do we need to look out for? What do we need to look out for? There's always a sense of urgency. You need to act now. You need to act now. You need to do this now. Like they make you an offer. If you don't act now, there's a risk of you losing A, B, C, D. You understand? And of course, that urgency make people just act. And it's always good to think before we act. And in fact, if you're not sure, check with somebody. Do your quick investigation. Then there's always a request for sensitive information. In fact, the moment you have been asked, or you need to put in your password, or you need to enter your date of birth. It's all this information are sensitive. And again, you have the requests. On such requests, you will see that the domain names of those emails that have come to your email, they have wrong spellings. You can't miss that. The spellings are wrong. And if you, as a security analyst, you also need to, like we mentioned it last week, pay attention to detail. And those kind of emails also come with some links, some funny looking links. You're going to see quite a number of them on Saturday, and you might actually go into your own email even after tonight's class, maybe before Saturday. Just try to look at your emails and select those emails that looks like phishing emails. Like, you haven't sent anything to UPS. I'm not expecting a parcel from UPS. The UPS is sending me an email to pay £5.90 for my parcel that is on the way. You understand? And then there's an attachment, there's a strange link there. We have to be wary of all of this. Okay? And why is social engineering, why is it effective against networks? Like I said earlier, human beings, we are vulnerable, and human error is a common vulnerability. Anything that is human there's 101% that errors can be an opening, okay, to a weakness that can be exploited. Again, the attackers, they know how to craft personalized scenarios that make it seem very normal and urgent. And what happens? You trust them because they're already playing on the victim's emotions. They're already playing on the victim's emotions, fear, on the victim's curiosity. And then what do? They encourage you to take action. So these three reasons are the why it is really effective. Because sometimes, a lot of times, we act before we think, and emotional intelligence is not enough to even know how to react, and we have not been able to, we cannot manage it, and well, not us, we won't become victims anyway. I'm just saying that, these are the things that they use. So what measures can we put in place, or can we adapt or adopt to prevent social engineering attacks on networks? What we are doing tonight, we are educating ourselves, all right? And within an organization as well, because organizations are usually the target, when they're targeting human individuals, that is spear phishing, all right? Organizations are usually the target. What are the measures that we need to put in place? You're going to go out there in the next few months or weeks to start working as a security analyst, or even whatever role, in whichever role you're working in presently. It's important that as an employee, you're trained. Employees need to be recognized, they need to be trained in recognizing threats. At least recognize if if you are not able to recognize the phishing email as at now, you are not ready to become a security analyst. Because as at now, based on what we've learned so far, You must be able to recognize a phishing email, a phishing text message. In fact, some of those calls you get, I say, oh, hi, Pat. All right, I'm calling from ABCD Insurance. You have an insurance set up for the moment I said, no, please take my name off your database. And sometimes I just say to them, scammer, get off my phone. Because you should be sensitive enough to recognize all this. And in addition to that, we want to be able to um, verify. When we get unusual requests, please, let's investigate. If you have doubts, hold on or hold off, all right? Hold off, and don't do anything, or make sure you go and do your investigation. And of course, we always encourage to use an additional layer of security, the MFA. And I know that for even all the public domain email services that we use, you still have to either enter your password and request for a code. Set it up, please. Let's always add a layer of security to it. Just using the password without the multi-factor authentication, we are obviously putting ourselves at a risk. So please go and check every service that you've signed up for. Check everything, ensure that you've included the multi-factor authentication. I mean, these are things that humanly from our side we can do. We don't even need an organization to tell us to do. And of course, access restrictions as well. Data access needs to be limited to based on the role. You don't give somebody who shouldn't be approving who shouldn't be approving a request, you don't give them access to approve requests. If their role is to make requests, or their role is only to view, then make sure that whatever permissions you've given to them is only limited to their role. And of course, we have other ways which would address the technical techniques. Multiple layers of security. For multiple layers of security, firewalls. Firewalls are very, very important. They act as a barrier. They block and they filter networks. They filter harmful data from entering your network. And of course, for those that are doing the software testing course, I'm going to speak with Wumi so that she can arrange the class. The cybersecurity guys, so you should join the class as well, so that she can arrange the class so that all the other software testers who didn't pick cybersecurity as an option can benefit from that, where we are going to talk about web application firewalls and how to how to test such applications as well. So that's one of the things that is on the course outline for you. And of course, encryption is also a way of protecting our network. So that converts data into a code to prevent unauthorized access. Or someone mentioned the use of a VPN earlier. Yeah, that's what a VPN does, encrypts your internet traffic, and hence attackers will not be able to intercept your data. You're not going to make it easy for them to intercept your data, especially if you're using public Wi-Fi. You need to be wary about that. And we have wary of that rather. And we have the antivirus software. I'm sure how many of us have antivirus software? McAfee. Which other antivirus software is popular there? I'm sure we all have that installed on our laptops. It helps to detect and remove any malicious software. that could compromise our network. And of course, you see that arrow pointing to regular updates. Every of these protection layers or tools that we're using, of course, they are all softwares, all right? There are softwares, there are devices, there are tools. Regular updates are really key as well. You can't, you may be protecting your asset with an antivirus software, and that antivirus software is not even up to date with the current techniques that, or the sophisticated techniques that the attackers are using right now, if you get what I mean. Yeah, so regular updates and keeping our software updated ensures that vulnerabilities are patched. And of course, why? Because at every point in time, we want to make sure that there's reduction in the risk of exploitation. So yes, let's look at this case scenario. I think we are doing well with time tonight. Okay. Yeah. Let's look at this case scenario. Who heard about this attack? Does anyone remember this? The Twitter hack in 2020. All right, okay. Okay. So what happened with this hack? It was spear phishing, and it led to unauthorized account access. So the CBS News basically carried it. The news reported it. So what the attackers did, they employed the social engineering techniques, and they used phishing, the phone-based phishing technique. So they used that to target Twitter employees, and the attackers impersonated Twitter's IT department, and they convinced, they do good work, but they convinced the employees to provide their credentials to access internal systems. And of course, these employees gave them. And once the attackers got insight into Twitter's network, they accessed 130 accounts, and I think they tweeted, is it from 45 or 36? You know, and they used these accounts that they tweeted from to promote a crypto scam. And what happened? That was a big financial. Imagine, you see where they came in from. Twitter is not a financial services organization. Do you understand? But they came in through Twitter, through social engineering, and the moment it got in, they were able to promote a cryptocurrency scam. And what did happen? That's the financial loss to Twitter, reputational damage to Twitter, because of course they got the should I call it the backlash or fines, you know, because it really impacted people's accounts, and the accounts of people that were compromised were high profile accounts. High profile accounts. I mean, like, it was a significant breach. You can read up the story. I'm sure you would, if you Google it, you said they assessed that, yeah, they were able to access and send direct messages of up to 36 people. including an elected official. I think was it Barack Obama? I think, yeah. I think Elon Musk, Bill Gates. I mentioned the names, yeah, but you can read it up. You can imagine what the power of social engineering. And there was also another one. This one is really long. It's a long time, 2013. So this one came through a third-party vendor. Of course, say for example, I'm sure, do we understand what a third-party supplier or vendor is? Say, for example, um, we have an IT team where we have a software developer, software tester, we have the Scrum Master and all that. However, um, we now have a supplier, a third-party supplier whom we bought a software from, for example. But we bought the software. All we do from our side internally is to configure the software to suit what we have. So that software that we bought from the supplier, that supplier is our third-party vendor. You can imagine how if social engineering attack can be used through a third-party vendor to compromise the network. That's why within the information security governance, the third-party management and the due diligence that you need to do with a third-party vendor is really a key factor as well in your when you're putting together your governance policy and how you manage anything third party, because you can't control them, but actually can make requests to know what they have in place, what their security posture is like before you even try to do any business with them. This breach here in 2013, it happened to Target. For those in America, I'm sure you know Target. So you can imagine how, well, what the kind of reputational damage that that this brought to the organization. So that is us tonight. But we are not going to go away. I've got questions for you, and I think I might be able to put the questions in the chat so that we can get responses from people. But before we go into the question and answer, I would just like to summarize and also check if you have questions. Then I would ask the questions that I prepared for us tonight. So tonight we've talked about network exploitation methods, the kind of techniques that attackers can apply. There's a technical techniques and there's a social engineering techniques. The social engineering techniques is the most popular because it has a very high rate of success. And of course, how can we prevent the attacks? I think it's really very important that we are vigilant. We pay attention to details. We pay attention to details, and also we are aware of the various kind of techniques that they use so that we don't fall victim, and we also learn about the other technical security practices that can be used to prevent these attacks by, for example, making sure we have a firewall set up, configured on our applications to prevent malicious data from getting into the network. Okay, thank you. And that is